Push it?
Mm-hmm. All right. Guys, my computer's being crazy. Hi, Jen.
Hello, Shannon.
Hello. Hello, Clarice. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the Calling the Forgotten Files. I am your host, Shannon Rogers, along with your other host, Jennifer Lee. Hi. Christmas is over.
No, and it's been a long week, hasn't it?
No, it went by really quick for me, actually. Yeah, because I've been working really hard to finish out the end of the month and the end of the year and the end of the quarter with my job. So I'm a little beat down today, but I'm here. And this is our New Year's show. So, last week was the special occasion too. It was their Christmas show. So we had a little bit of wine, but I still had that wine left over from last week. So I might pour a beverage. Who knows?
Today.
So how was your week? Anything exciting? Anything good happen? Anything bad?
You know what? It was good. I got to tell you that I had one of the best Christmases, honestly, that I've had in probably 7 years. I mean, I can count the date, right? So 7 years. So it was really, really good. I got to spend a lot of time with my family, and it was just so mellow. We didn't have big plans, but we just hung out, did a lot of laughing. So it was really good.
I remember you talking about it. You're like, I'm going to go out all out this year. I'm going to get all the house decorated. I'm going to do it. And you did. And I saw you having fun and enjoying yourself. So that was great to see.
Yeah, I did. And I haven't done that for, a long time. So it was just a mindset. My mindset was, I don't like Christmas. I don't like the tune, I know. So I changed it this year and it was really good. It was really fun.
Good. And then we had a creepy Christmas show.
It was good.
I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, even though my screen went black for a while, but it was fun. But, guys, thank you for tuning back in. And, we had a really fun show last week. And this week we have Black Cauldron Paranormal with Jennifer Steese and Channing Pratt. And they're kind of awesome. They're really, really good friends of mine. So let me bring them on. And there they are.
Wow.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
They're my hookers.
Soul sisters. Seriously.
I feel a little bit betrayed.
Oh no, you're a hooker too.
You're a hooker. Yes.
The hookers.
The hooker club.
That's what you call me.
I know. It's sweet, isn't it? My mom, it was so funny because I hosted an event in Bartlett, Texas, and Channing and Jennifer were there. They were the featured investigators. And my mom was there as well. And we got, an Airbnb. We like to get an Airbnb for the weekend and just have a really good time, for the whole weekend and just have one night of investigating. Well, Channing came to help me get stuff out of my mom's car. And my mom was standing there and I called her a hooker. And Channing's like, don't call your mom that. My mom was like, I'm the OG hooker.
It's so funny.
It was awesome.
I was like, oh, you called your mom a hooker. And she turned around like some cool, badass. I will say she's like, I am the OG. And I was like,
Mom.
You are the OG. But
She
I
cracks
thought it was
me
the
up.
most awesome thing ever. I love her mom.
Yeah. So tell us let everybody know who you are, what you do, where are you from?
So I'm originally from Ohio. I'm from right on the border of West Virginia. We're Point Pleasant. That's where probably the best way to explain it is where the Mothman is. So that's kind of being known for that area is kind of cool. I've always been interested in the paranormal. Went to events with Jen a lot. I kept running into her, and finally I said, we're just going to be friends. I pretty much just told her.
And it literally did happen that way.
And really, we had a lot in common, like just everything, and we got along really well. And then that's how I actually met Shannon at first time at Old Park. And that was my first investigation in Texas was with Shannon. So that was pretty cool. I ended up moving here a year and a half later, and things just kind of fell into place. And finally, we decided to put a name to us because we kept doing this on our own. We're like, probably should get a name. Probably should do that. So, but yeah, it's kind of been a fun road to be on. But yeah.
You guys are like the bosom buddies. I mean, y'all are like one unit, and I love that. I love that y'all get along so well, and like we live like a couple hours from each other, and y'all are still together all the time. Y'all hit the road almost every weekend, going somewhere, even if it's just to rent out a huge location by yourselves. Y'all really get out and enjoy it, and I love seeing that.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
In a couple weeks, I will be literally 2 blocks away from her, so she won't be able to get with us.
Yeah.
I know it's happening, right?
Yeah.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to. We don't live that far from each other, so
she's gonna have a pool, by the way.
Yeah, she already told me she's gonna be visiting me every day in the summer because she's like, "You have a pool? That's my lawn chair right there. That's where I will be hanging out." I'm like, okay.
My Scottish self needs a big umbrella, so it's like, oh my goodness gracious. Oh, Jen. I can't believe it's already going to be 2023. Like, what? This year just was insane. It went by very fast.
It went by so fast. It went by really fast this year. But yeah, I was right, Michael. Shannon changed it.
Yeah, we typically our show is at 6, and there's and I asked her the last Christmas one. I said, can we do this one at 7 because I have to work and I want to have time to put my crazy face tattoos on and everything. And I ended up getting off work at 2, so I had 5 hours to kill. So I was like, we could have done it at 6, but typically the show is at 6, but under certain circumstances it'll be at 7. We just don't want to confuse everybody or myself too much. Hey, Mike. Whoops. Let me show that comment. Here you go. But so, Jennifer and Channing are actually going to be coming to a very awesome location in February. We got an Airbnb for the weekend, but it's out in Dangerfield. I was contacted and asked to investigate an old abandoned hospital that is untouched. And if you remember back in 1980, the Dangerfield, church shootings, it was like the first mass church shooting, and it was in Texas. Well, they reached out for me to come out and investigate. So I put a group together, and Jennifer and Channing is going to be part of that. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be awesome. I'm hoping, but from what my friend told me, he took a lot of pictures and everything. He's like, it's so creepy in there. And if not, it's urban exploring. It'll be really fun because it's, it is abandoned. So,
well, if nothing else, it will have history.
Yes.
Right? And you get to see the buildings, and you get to see, and it'll have residual energy. There's plenty that you'll be able to feel, I think, when you're in there.
Yeah.
Did you say it had never been investigated before?
No, it's untouched. It is. And I'm down for that. And I've never been in a hospital, whether it's open and active, functioning, or abandoned, or, an event location that didn't have activity in it or something. Even if it was residual.
Right.
Excuse me.
And where is it?
In Dangerfield, Texas. It's like northeast Texas, like in the very corner northeast. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I mean, not only that investigation, I'm looking forward to having an Airbnb on the lake for the weekend with these girls.
Yeah.
Fun.
When was the last time we seen you, Shannon? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Bartlett.
April.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Remember Norma? I love her. Bruce and Norma, they're so amazing. Hi, Lauren. How are you? There's Lauren. That's another hooker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren's going to be there as well.
Hi, Shannon.
Oh, I was like, hi. I get it now. I'm so blind.
The other Shannon. Mike, yeah, got to check out the morgue. I'm sure they've got one.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
How big of a hospital is it, Shannon?
I don't know. It's not a very big one, but it's not tiny as well. It's not one of the big, massive ones, but it's hard to speculate exactly how big it is. It's going to be probably twice as big as Broken Bow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming something like that. So Broken Bow up in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. That's a place right there. That place is.
Oh, yeah.
If you want some activity,
Go there.
wow.
It's poltergeistic. Like there's a lot of like things getting thrown. I mean, I've had things thrown at me multiple times where there was no one that could have done it. I'm just like, oh, that was awesome. Do it again.
That was awesome.
Yeah. I'm into weird stuff.
I was laughing because the last time her and I, well, we went with a group of friends from Oklahoma, but the time before that, we went early summer, and literally Lauren Cookers. And literally before that, something was thrown at us. We were standing in the hallway, and I did the whole like trying to block myself. And she goes, "What in the hell are you doing? Like, you think that's going to stop it?"
It's a natural reaction. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So I've worked with you guys, and we know a lot of people that are watching right now haven't. So, when Jennifer was asking about you guys, I was telling her that I was like, you're both sensitive, and that Channing's really coming a lot into her own right now, and discovering her abilities and stuff like that. So she's in a really like just different, unique stage of doing that. I mean, you remember Jennifer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But Channing, do you mind sharing with us what stage you're in? Like what?
So I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what stage I am in, but it's I'm gonna be honest with because everything feels so new to me because when I experience things, it's what is that? So I know I've reached out to Shannon before, and it's really come a long way in the past year, I would say.
A couple of years.
But this last investigation, if I can talk today, this last investigation we went to, you literally pull up the drive. I was like, I just feel like they're standing out there watching. And it was just watching everything, every move. And we were in this schoolhouse, and I was staring out the window. I'm like, they're up there, long beard and a jacket on. And I'm telling her, she's like, Channing, I don't see anything. Like, I don't. But literally, when I look back at pictures, I actually caught something in a picture with a jacket and a long beard. So it's just things like that kind of come as, and I'm still learning. So it's very hard. I get very frustrated with myself because I don't know what certain things are.
Right.
It's really neat to have this.
It lasts forever.
And just someone else confirm. Yeah.
It's just
what is it?
I said that lasts forever.
Yeah.
Just so you know. It's just this lifetime of learning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I love that though, because I can learn from other people too, and that's really cool to have that as well. And, when we work with Shannon, she's one of her things that you need to quit being so hard on yourself. That was one of the things with the word hookers. But yeah, it's really, I feel like each time we do an investigation, it kind of comes into its own. Like I experience more and I want more of that. And it's really neat to really see myself to be able to do that kind of work. It's really, really neat.
Yeah.
I've watched you evolve. It's really nice to watch. And you and, Jennifer Cease, y'all really balance each other out really well and complement each other on investigations. So that's really, really nice to watch. And there's Courtney and then Dan's there. Hey guys. If it's showing Facebook user, you have to give StreamYard permission for it to show your name. If not, you can just, before you comment, type your name so we can say hi back to you. Dan and Connie. I love them. And we got John here. So I'm having
John.
You're still having hot flashes?
It's like I'm hot too.
Yes.
She's
I'm
really
telling
better.
you. Ooh. I had the fan on, I had the heater on earlier, then I switched the air conditioner to like 70 and put the fan on full blast, and I'm dying right now. So, whew.
So do the two of you do any investigations on your own?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
All the
I
time?
think we do mostly most of the time.
It's just the two of us.
Yeah, it's just the two of us. Most
like
of the time we do it on our own, and then we have invited friends from Oklahoma, PIO. They've joined us many a times. We love working with other teams, but we also like working with each other to learn more from each other.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah. So what have you done? I mean, what are some of the places that you've gone to? Or actually can you tell me, like, I'm just curious. Tell me about an experience, like one of your most amazing experiences or something during your
I think
investigation.
probably the most best we had was, oh my gosh, there's so many, because this is our first year and just went to every place that we could. Probably my favorite place was the Ohio State Reformatory, but also the USS Lexington that we did. But the USS Lexington was really neat because we just sat, our tour guide was with us, but I said, let's just sit and listen for about 10 to 15 minutes and see what we can hear. And you can literally hear them working up on the railing, just like banging and running, and you could hear them talking, and just that experience was pretty cool. But Broken Bow was another one
Broken Bow is a good one. But Broken Bow, I think sometimes it's like if you go during the day at Broken Bow, you can get a lot. And then sometimes at night, it just like disappears.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's the exact opposite. You go during the day, there's absolutely nothing. And then like 7 o'clock at night hits, and then like everything comes out of the woodworks. It's,
John.
It's just kind of I think it's just a hit and miss. I think sometimes people think like you go to a location and it's just like activity like constantly. And it's like what we always try to tell people is like, we have plenty of times where we sit for like an hour and we're just talking to each other because nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Or you're in the dark staring at a wall. It's like you have those moments where like nothing is happening. And then suddenly like you'll start hearing doors opening. You'll hear when we were at Broken Bow, we would hear almost like a wheelchair, like being pushed down the hallway. And we could see the wheelchair. The wheelchair wasn't moving, but you could hear like the creaking of the wheels of like a gurney or something. And it's just like, wow, like it's just, it's cool,
Yeah,
it's just, I think sometimes it's the little things that are really like the cool things. I mean, you can go to a penitentiary and have like the really crazy experiences of seeing like shadow figures walking out of the cells in like death row, and they're scary as all heck, because you just feel that they are not nice people. It's like you almost feel like before you see them, you feel that energy coming out at you. And it's just like, ooh, like, what is that? And then you just see this big figure, like either walking towards you, running at you, charging. And, I always kid her, like when we go to penitentiaries, I'm like, we have to remember we're going to a place where this is where they kept men and we're two women walking around, and so is that why they're more aggressive sometimes? Is that why they're more interactive? Because they're all like, hey, they're women, we're used to men, but these are women, she's gotten her butt pinched. I don't know how many times.
Me too.
I mean, they just like to pinch her.
There's a good question from a Facebook user. I'm not sure who it is. It says, are either of you ever afraid of something attaching to you?
I would say for me, yes, but we do those precautions at the beginning and the end. I think at one point we used so much, what was the spray that we used?
We used sandalwood.
We used sandalwood spray. It was like Cheech and Chong in my car. I mean, it was overpowering. And
I went a little overboard. I'm sorry.
For months later, I mean, you can smell it, but we always take that precaution. I mean, it's.
Well, heck, sometimes we still open up our backpacks that have our equipment, and you get the whiff of sandalwood, and she's like, "That's because of you." I'm like, "I know, but like it was really, I mean, where we were, it was something very aggressive, and you could tell it was like trying to go home with you." And so it's all like, okay, so we're going to just drench everything in sandalwood. And yeah.
And sage.
And we did the sage. Yeah. So, but yeah, unfortunately the car still smells like sandalwood.
Yes. And I've actually had to use that before, and it's worked wonders.
Isn't it? I know. And you got to be like, okay, this is what we're going to do here. You're going to get the F out. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And it was. I mean, I know everybody like laughed that the car smelled like it or bags smelled like it. I'm all like, but I think a lot of ways, whatever works for you that you believe that's going to work for you, whether it's to say a prayer, whether it's to carry a cross with you. I mean, whatever it is, I think for me personally, I think it's more your belief that that's going to protect you versus, well, this is what everybody does, so that's what I'm going to do. It's like, no, do the thing that you believe in, that will protect you. And that belief is what's going to protect you more than anything than a simple sage stick. You got to believe it's going to work for you.
You know, raise your own frequency and know your intent.
Yes.
My post-it fell. I was like, where'd it go?
Yeah.
Where's my inspiration? I don't care. I'm gonna find it sometimes. These lights are tripping me out. I tried to be all festive.
I love it.
For your show, but I'm like,
she's like, what is that?
Might be finding out that I'm a little epileptic here. It's like,
Abe is asking an interesting question too. Have you ever had any bad dreams of areas you've investigated?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. All the time. And it seems,
sometimes it's before.
I feel like for me, I know she's had them after, but for me, it's always like a week or two before.
Yeah. But there's been times where it's like, I forget where we were going. I was here at her house. And so they have a downstairs room that I sleep in. And I had this horrible nightmare of this person trying to suffocate me. And I actually woke up and I told her, I'm like, I don't know what is going on, but this is I'm like, this is what happened. And she kind of like gives me this look and I'm like, what? And she goes, is this what the person looked like? And she starts describing this man. And I'm all like, yeah. And she goes, yeah. She goes, I had a dream about him like 2 weeks ago. And it turns out the location we ended up going to like 3 days later, he was known to be a very aggressive man at that location. And he would beat up women in his life. He was alive. So, and so it was weird that it's like almost the location knew we were coming and it was already kind of trying to interact with us even before we came. So
I believe that can happen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then you'll kind of have premonitions. You kind of start to get a feel for the place before you go in.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because one of the locations that we go to, we've done, I wouldn't say a lot, but we go there often. The dreams I would have, I can even smell the place. Mm-hmm. I mean, and see the outfit that I would be wearing or whatever. It's really interesting to have those type of dreams and be able to have that, the sense of smell and all of that in it.
So. And then to be able to validate them later when you go into the location is super. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so for sure.
I have that happen with some houses, like some residentials. Before I go in, I can almost see. Well, I can see the layout and I can see like the trouble spots. And so when I go in, like that's just, I'm hyper focused to find that spot.
Yeah. So and it's definitely interesting because it's like, it's not something that I'm used to because like out of our duo, I'm the skeptical one. So I'm usually the one, like she takes pictures and I'm like, okay, wait, hang on. Let's figure this out first. And she's like, really? And I'm all like, well, we just want to make sure.
Like, so but I'm feeling it. No.
And it's all like when we were at that schoolhouse and she got a picture of that man in the window. I'm all like, okay, well, let me go back. I'm going to take pictures of the exact same windows. And let's just see, is it, because there was trees outside, there was lights outside. So I'm like, maybe it's I took a picture of those windows and there was nothing in my picture. So I'm like, see, now we know it was somebody was outside that window. And I'm like, to me, I know sometimes she'll roll her eyes at me. I'm all like, she does, because she thinks I get too skeptical sometimes. But I'm like, but I want
healthy balance.
I'm all like, but I want to be sure when we're posting up pictures or we're showing people these things that we know, like without a shadow of a doubt, that was a man in a coat with a hat and a beard, and he was outside that window. Because if they're like, well, I don't know, okay, let me show you my pictures that I took 1 minute later. And the windows, because I'm like, you couldn't even say the windows were dirty because they kept those windows spotless. So I'm all like, see, she took that picture 1 minute later. I took a picture. Look how clear that picture is. I'm like, so there was something there. So, but I know she'll roll her eyes at me and she'll just be like, whatever, man. And I'm like, but we want to be sure. I'm like, or maybe I want to be sure. Maybe not so much her, but I want to be sure.
And it's like, trust me.
It's that healthy balance. And, you know, we notice sometimes when we'll go to locations, if something's not happening for like, we'll just get to laughing and stuff, which is very hard. Hey, Bill. Hey, Bill. It's hard to get back into it. You've been joking around, you know, and carrying on. We were actually at the haunted Olavaca jail. She had bought, I'm sorry, body cameras. Just something to try. And we had them on. And then when I was reviewing footage, it was literally of my chin the entire time.
The best angle too from below.
And I got to laughing. I literally sat on my couch for 3 hours laughing hysterically. Oh my God, Channing, just leave it on your neck.
Well, it was funny because I got the body cameras because it's like when we do our walkthroughs, you know, we always forget, like, you know, maybe we should be like videotaping while we're walking through. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get us body cameras. And so I got them. And then, of course, we get there. And 4 hours later, we realize, oh, we didn't use the body cameras. But by then, it's like we're starting to get tired. We're just like laughing at everything. So when we finally go upstairs to the jail, she's sitting on one end. I'm sitting on the other end. And I'm laughing at her because I'm all like, this footage is going to be just of us looking at each other.
It literally was.
And it was. And that just got her laughing even harder. And I'm all like, okay, well, this was a kind of an epic fail, but it'll be entertaining. So I'm like, so next time, I'm like, we have to remember to do it before we get all like silly and like we're tired and exhausted. But it was entertaining. But actually, I think in one of the shots when we were at Olavaca, we actually did catch something from the body camera. Yeah. It was like the one moment we actually were walking around, you did see something kind of like glimmer like away at the bottom of the floor, like it was like skirting away. So, but I don't know. I mean, I think for us, it's just because we have a good time with each other too. And that's, you know.
What other equipment do you take or use? What other equipment do you use?
We do K2s, REM pods, cat balls. This actually worked very well for us. Yeah. For a while now. Mm-hmm. There's a lot. What else?
We use the spirit box. Mm-hmm. We do. She does the SC's method. I can't. It gives me a migraine. She loves it. It gives me a migraine, so I can't.
Dowsing rods.
We've used dowsing rods. I do automatic writing. I use spirit dice. I mean, we're always kind of open to use anything else. We've tried phone apps. You know, some of them are a bust. Some of them are actually pretty cool and everything. But I guess, yeah, that's kind of the stock of what we use.
Yeah.
Well, so. Back to the body cams. Like I literally used to always have a camera, a camcorder, night vision in my hand, and I would have them set up. My problem was I was just sitting on evidence. I'd never had time to review those hours and hours and hours. And I mean, like, I still have the SD cards. It's like, I just, you know, and so it's like, what's the use? I'm deleting, I'm filming over what I've already had. And I could, so I just quit doing it and just started having fun and relying more on, my intuition and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
So Courtney is asking a question, and I wanted to talk to you about this too, because that's what intrigues me is the automatic writing. Okay. I know what it is and I do it, but I'm curious how you're doing it on investigations and what you're getting from it.
I don't do it at every location that I go to because, for me, I think of it as that I almost become a radio. And so it's like, you're almost like spinning a dial. Okay. And that's how I envision it in my head. It is like I'm spinning a dial and just seeing what I can catch and everything. Some locations I will not do it at because I don't feel safe being that open in a location. So I do kind of rely on what my instinct tells me. If I'm like, okay, this place is okay. Okay, I'll do it. And it is, for me, a lot of it is I just kind of like listen to what they're saying. I don't really per se ask them questions.
Right.
I just kind of listen to them and I just write down whatever I hear them saying. A lot of times, once I think sometimes the spirits notice what I'm doing, then they actually start physically talking to me. And so then I will start getting things like we were at, what was that, Ohio Reformatory? So we were at Ohio Reformatory in the death row area, and it was at the end of the night. Channing was down the hallway with our friend Susan, and Miranda was with me. And so I'm like, I'm just going to do it for the end of the night. I'm sitting in a cell and I'm just seeing what I get. And it was just kind of stuff like, they were just talking about like what their day would be like, like that they never got to go outside because it was death row. They had to stay indoors. They didn't like that. They didn't like that they didn't get to see the sun and all of this. But then it was weird. It kind of took this weird turn where I hear one person, this man, like literally almost like whisper to me, like, the guards are gone. It's now time to play. And I'm like, oh, no, we're done. I mean, I was like, I literally like shut my notebook and I'm like, nope, I'm done.
But in the mix of that,
right,
I was down on the other side where I couldn't even hear her or nothing. And I had the spirit, the SB7 box going. In two different voices, it said, ready or not, here I come. And I was like, shutting off.
It was weird. It happened at the exact same moment.
Yeah.
So her and Susan are coming down the hall and she's all like, and she sees me packing up my stuff and she's like, what happened? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it until we leave here because I'm like, I do not feel okay being in this death row anymore. But it was almost like, God, it was like almost like 1:30 in the morning, so it's like the energy just changed and they weren't going to be so polite anymore. And I'm all like, yeah, you know what, and so when we left, I told her and she's all like, oh, let me tell you what happened when we were doing it. And so it was interesting. I haven't done automatic writing for a while now, but I mean, to me, it's hard. It's like I have to be in the right mindset, like for it to work. If not, I just feel like I'm sitting there staring at a notebook.
Right.
But yeah. So.
Yeah, it's definitely like an awareness and an intention, and you have to be, like you said, in the right frame of mind to be able to do it.
Right. Yeah. I
think it's amazing, though. I love automatic writing.
She's really good at it.
I used to do it when I was a teenager. I will say I probably did not do it in the safest of environments because we did it in cemeteries. And it was at night and it was probably not sound because I was like 17 and, you're young and stupid. I was young and stupid at 17. And it actually got very scary for me because I actually sometimes would feel like they were following me out of the cemetery because they wanted to keep talking to me. And I'm 17. I'm like, well, what do I do? How do I make them stay put? I don't want them to go home with me. I don't want to be laying in my bed and having them talk to me. So I kind of stopped and I'm all like, I need to learn more what this means before I start playing with it because I'm all like, I can do it. But I felt very unsafe because there was one time we were in this very old cemetery and I literally felt like 5 of them were trying to come home. And I was like freaking out because I'm like, well, what do I do? How do I tell them they got to stay put? And a friend of mine was like, well, you just tell them to stay put. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm a kid. And I'm like, it freaks me out. But I started doing it again, maybe like 2-3 years ago. And I think cemeteries are cool. I think just being older, maybe I have a little bit more confidence in myself versus when you're young and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so.
And I want to thank everyone in the chat that is commenting. Someone did say something about, even though I didn't post their comment, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm barely able to read them. So I'm getting to them as much as I can. So do you guys have any questions for Channing and Jennifer? Please put them in there and we'll ask them, okay? And
there was one in here and I feel bad because I just caught it and now I can't find it. Oh my gosh.
What was it about? Do you know?
I
can.
Who brings? I might be saying.
I know.
What is it?
Who draws more spirits? This one?
Yes, that one.
Okay. Who draws more spirits?
We all looked at each other.
I think it depends on where we are.
Yeah.
You know, when I would say we're in penitentiaries, they like Channing a whole lot more in everything. They like to mess with her more in a penitentiary. It's weird. In a penitentiary, they tend to leave me alone. I don't know if I just seem meaner or something. They seem to leave me alone more. But I would say Broken Bow is a place that messes with me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think just Broken Bow kind of in general likes to mess with people.
Yeah.
But Broken Bow will mess with me a little bit more, but then I get kind of sassy and mean, and then they kind of back off, you know, because I had one call me not nice names, and I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I worked so hard to be that. I'm like, thank you. And you just hear it.
This you, Michael.
And it just kind of like got quiet. Like, it's like, well, what do I say to that?
Well, the last time we were there, it called me a hooker, and I was like, thank you. You're so
They
sweet.
learned well.
It's just calling you your nickname, right?
Yeah. I was like,
What's wrong with that?
but we noticed the more, because we don't immediately go in anymore, because we would get so excited we would just start investigating.
Right.
But instead of just doing that, we kind of go in and kind of just sit down and kind of walk around the place a little bit, and then just, I wouldn't say goof off, but like just kind of have a conversation. Yeah, we do. We get to laughing. We start telling jokes and stuff, and then we notice the activity really.
It's almost like
I think that's a good way to go in, right? And keep the vibrations high, and instead of just going in like all serious and like, I like that.
Michelle LeBaron and her approach is just, I love it. She was like, they're already bored. They don't want to be more bored. Like they want, let's have some conversation. Let's tell some jokes. Let's have some laughs, because they want to interact. They want to have a good time as well. For the most part, not all of them, but
right.
Bring something to them, show them a good time. Oh my goodness. Let's say Michael said, when are you investigating the area again?
The area. When are we going?
The whole United States is their area.
Well, like what area?
Well, our next one, we're actually going with our friend Terry,
and
I'm going to butcher this.
Elgin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Texas. We're doing a nursing home.
Yeah.
So we're going to meet with him. It's about an hour from here. We did a podcast with him about 2 months ago.
November.
Okay. November.
It's almost January, so there you go.
Okay. So, but yeah, we're going there, and then February with Shannon, and then March we're doing Broken Bow, and then we're doing the Jefferson Hotel with Mike and Chris are going to be there. So we're going to go see them. That'll be fun. Yeah. I'm trying to read the comments. I don't have my glasses on.
I know. They're the same thing. I'm like, and my screen's smaller because
I'm not mean mugging people. I feel bad.
We're in Mansfield. Okay. So when we were in Mansfield, a friend of ours did the challenge of walking around. I did the challenge in Mansfield of sitting in the attic by myself for, what was it, 10 minutes?
It was 10 minutes.
10 minutes. It was cool, but I will say in the last 2 minutes, I couldn't wait for them to open the door because I was starting to get very freaked out. So the attic is where there was a fire in another Ohio prison, and the inmates that were still alive, they brought them to Mansfield, and they were full. So they literally built cots in this attic space and just threw all the prisoners in there. These prisoners were burned, they were dying, they were sick, and they just left them in there. They didn't really take care of them. They just kind of closed the door and just said, "You're in there now." And so it's kind of a sad place, but it's a very creepy one because when they left, we were running a recorder just to see if it would pick up anything. It didn't. But when I'm sitting there in the dark by myself, you start seeing these bands of light like rushing towards you. So it was like it was from the door and whatever it'd be like 20, 30 feet, and it would come rushing at you. and then it would just like dissipate. And it started creeping me out because I'm like, there's no one else in here with me. And it's pitch dark and they didn't leave me a flashlight. And I'm thinking, like, if something happens to me, I can't run out of here without probably tripping and falling and like breaking a bone. So it was a little freaky, but it was very interesting because you could hear them. You could hear them shuffling their feet around because they couldn't walk because they were burned. And so they're just kind of shuffling. And of course, one pulled Channing's hair in there because she was sitting on his bed. And I don't think he liked it.
Oh, I bolted. And I was like, why do I do this to myself in the dark? Like, why do I know I'm not supposed to, but I do it anyway.
Yeah. So
I love it. I love that adrenaline rush. At first, I want to get freaked out like that. You know, it got to where I was doing way too many investigations. When you're doing 1 to 3 a week for months after months, it was just like,
that's a lot.
Kind of get numb to everything. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, I'm going to investigate again. So I haven't been on an investigation since August. So
wow.
I'm ready. I was supposed to go, to Old Park, but I was sick. So I really wanted to go. That was so disappointing, but it's okay. There's more times. Let's see.
Where and what would you say is the most active place you've investigated? Did you not see my comment? There it is. What are you doing?
That's a hard
That's
one.
from Greg.
Let's see here. I would say if you're talking about like consistent activity, I would say Lavaca jail is definitely one. Lavaca has a weird thing of that you lose time.
Yes.
In Lavaca, you think that like 45 minutes have passed and actually 3 hours have passed, or you think 3 hours have passed and only 30 minutes have passed. So you kind of lose time in that place. And so one time when we were at Lavaca, we had a recorder upstairs where the cells are, and we went downstairs because I wanted to have a smoke break. She wanted to get some water. And we just left the recorder running up there. And then we came back to listen to it. And if you've never been to Lavaca, it's off on some side road that cars never drive by, especially at night. And you play back this recorder and you hear car after car after car, like just zipping by.
And like birds.
And you hear songbirds singing and everything, like 5 songbirds like singing. And it's like 10 o'clock at night. So I'm like, okay, 1, there would be no songbirds. No. 2, we're sitting outside and I'm like, no car drove by. So it's like you almost got this like glimpse of like a different time, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It was very weird, but it was really cool. I mean, it's like at the same time where it's like you listen to it and you're like, oh my God, that's so weird. But you're like, it's so cool.
Yeah. I went into one place where we lost time like that. And that was so strange. And it only happened once because I've only been there once.
Yeah.
And it was actually an outdoor space.
Oh,
and
wow.
I walked in there. It was so strange. But yeah, lost time, lost direction, lost all. It was just like being in this weird, I don't know.
Kind of like in a vortex. Like you just feel like you're everywhere.
Yes. Yeah,
like,
it was very
all
interesting.
spread out. And it's just, I love that location. That you do feel, I mean, you feel, okay, I got to get my thoughts together because the time has lost.
Yeah.
What the heck has happened in that meantime?
Okay, so getting
like,
this.
What the crap?
But remember the scattered thing. Okay, so when we were at Cold Spring, we were in a jail, and this jail, it was mostly like a drunk tank. It's more because it's a very small town. It's like less than 800 people in this town. And so it's mostly just like the local drunks. They would have them in there to sleep it off. So we go upstairs and she's like getting stuff together. And I'm just like standing there. And she's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I mean, I was so scattered, which I'm not. I'm usually like the one that's like all organized. And I mean, I could not string a thought together. And it wasn't until we got back to our Airbnb that we're sitting there talking. I'm like, you know what? It's because they're drunk. They're drunk. It's almost like I felt really drunk and like I couldn't string a thought together because the minute we left the jail, I was fine. But it's like every time we went back in there, it's like I felt that kind of like drunk feeling. And I'm like, okay, unless somebody has spiked my Coke that I am drinking. I feel like I'm drunk, like I'm buzzed, and I can't, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't, she's asking me to get batteries, and I'm looking at her like, wait, what?
I said, can you hand me 3 AAA batteries? And she went, literally, this is what she did. She went, huh? I was like, I snapped my fingers. I did 3 AAA batteries. I just don't know. And I said,
what do you not know?
what do you not know? The batteries are in your hand. Like, I was getting frustrated, but then we remembered. I said, let's just take a break and go in the other location. And then we were sitting there and we started talking. And she goes, remember? And so we were piecing together. And then I kind of felt bad. I just kind of went at one point looking at her like that, like, give me the batteries.
But then also when we were in the jail, when we went back into the jail, this one was clumsy, and she was like,
No.
she banged into a wall, and and at that point I'm looking at her like, are you okay? And she's like, she goes, I can't walk. And I'm all like, drunk people, remember? I'm like, maybe we're just being affected by them, and they're just, we're feeling their drunkenness.
So Abe wants to know, have you ever had to go into prayer because of activity getting hot and heavy?
Yes, we actually had to leave a location, or we had been there. We went through the daytime to investigate because then we wanted to go back during the nighttime to see the difference. And when we started to investigate, it became very intense. I kind of got really, really nauseated all at once. I felt disoriented. I said, we need a timeout. I need to leave for a little bit. And so when we did that, I felt a lot. We left for a good couple hours and we came back and we did that. And I felt a lot better. But yeah, there was times that we've had to do that.
Okay, hold on, glasses. Do you both prefer one section of the country over the other? And is there any different pattern for using equipment, like certain pieces can continuously outshine others?
I mean, I would be willing to go anywhere in the country.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, but it's, with work and things like that, it's kind of hard to travel further than where we can drive, kind of a thing. I mean, I would love to like go more west and go to like Arizona, Nevada, California, Oregon. I mean, I would love to go to those places. It's just not possible right now.
I've gone to a lot of places, but it's hard to do that consistently because it's not cheap. It's
not.
Being a paranormal investigator, being nationwide is really not cheap.
No. And we've actually even taken maybe a week, just like a vacation week, and just hop in the car and go.
Yeah.
And take a suitcase and some equipment. Yes. If I can get the thing on the camera right. But yeah, we've talked about that. And that to me would be more fun than anything. Yeah. Just not wait and get in the car and go.
Just one place to the next and just go. Okay, yes. So I have a lot of PTO stacked up.
Let's go.
That's the thing. Not only does it take money, it takes a lot of time, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of times that I mean, because my son's only 8, so with him being in school and my baby,
yes,
my little squishy, but I'm home a lot with him because my husband is military. He is gone a lot too, so we kind of balance that out so I can go do things and I'm not always stuck at home. So
she just gets stuck in the car with me.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Okay.
Oh, you haven't been stuck in a car with me yet.
It's not bad. It's not bad. We went.
It's not good.
We have a great time. Don't get me wrong. But we were heading to Cold Spring, Texas, about 2 weeks ago, and it was about a 4-hour drive, which is no big deal. So I'm driving, and she is just 100 miles an hour. And finally, I said, "Listen, what is wrong with you?" And she said, "Okay, I'm not, because I'm not gonna lie, because I had gotten my hair done that morning. She came to the salon with me, and I wasn't paying attention to what she was drinking. She had an energy drink, and then she had a Mountain Dew, and I was like,
no food.
Oh no!
And I said, "Listen, sister."
Story.
She was
so hyper.
See,
and I always kid her because you drive through all these small areas. And so I tell her she should just let me drive, because if I drive, I focus on the road and I'm not going to, do anything. But when she drives, I will look at all the road signs And if they're like funny names, I will make jokes about them. So like one time we were in Virginia, we drove past a sign and it was called Marion. And it's out in the middle of the woods. And I'm like, so is this like the American Sherwood Forest? Is like Robin Hood here? Because Marion is here. And she's like, oh my God, get the hell out of my car. I'm like, we're going 85 miles an hour. Can you slow down so I can get out first? So, but no, it's fun. I think it makes it entertaining. I say it's never a road trip. It's never a complete road trip until Channing has smacked me at least once. But yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, I think if we had more time to go like beyond where we are, it would be great. But it's like, you have to have the money, you have to have the funds, you have to have the time off from work. And, in her case, because she has a little one still, she can't be like, oh, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks because, she's got her little one. So,
that makes it really hard because I have a 5-year-old and and like sometimes it's like, okay, I'm ready to come home now. It's like, come home now.
Yeah.
So.
And we happen to like our kids. It's weird. Like, who does that? Awesome. So, like, if people wanted to look you up or get a hold of you or, find you on social media and friend you, I mean, what's the best ways to, like, what are your platform? Where can they find you at?
So we're on Facebook, Black Cauldron Paranormal. Oh, thank you. We also, our email address is blackcauldronparanormal@gmail.com. We have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, YouTube. We also have YouTube as well. So people can reach out to us anytime.
I'm having a hard time with the YouTube thing, man.
It's hard. I'm telling you. And it used to not be like that. It used to be just so simple. You can log in.
Well, just like, how do you get followers without going, hey, you want to be my follower? It's on people like, why don't you go in there and like and subscribe real quick? So I'm just interested. I'm just now getting, playing around with YouTube a little bit. And I don't know. I'm venturing out of the Facebook realm a little bit. So it's kind of cool. Yeah,
we love doing the YouTube stuff. That's really cool.
She said, went to the ship today. She sad and misses you both.
So Bill is amazing. He was, he's just awesome. But he was our tour guide for when we went to the USS Lexington. And I'll let you tell that story because you're a big part of it too.
What story am I telling?
About the picture and the scare bear.
Oh, the scare bear picture. I'm sorry. I mean, there were so many pictures. I'm all like, what picture are we talking about? Well, because there's a picture you got of the sailor too. So I didn't know which picture you were talking about.
So Monica did my website, so that's why she's throwing that up there.
Yes,
she designed my website, and it's beautiful. She did a wonderful job.
Get a hold of this, Monica.
So when we were there, we were down in where the vats are. So it was like the mechanical room. So one vat was acid and one was varnish. Mm-hmm. And so there's this whole area because there's a story that a woman was killed there, and it was just a very horrific death that she had. So they're on a ship and they have to figure out how do we hide her body. So they threw her in a vat head first. They meant to put her in the vat that had acid, but they accidentally put her in the vat with varnish. So it was days later, they actually did find her body. And so she kind of stays in that area. She's not fond of men. I mean, which granted, because of what men had done to her. And so her daughter is also there because her mom is there and everything. So her mom is very skittish, but the little girl, she will come and talk to you. So Channing has this little like scare bear. And we had it sitting on a chair and it was next to Channing, and Channing, being her little like motherly teacher self, she's like, come here, sit with me and we'll take a picture. You can hug my bear. It's totally okay. And she actually got a picture of the little girl coming up into the chair to hold the teddy bear. And it's a really cool picture and it's in the dark. So at first we didn't see it. And then she's like looking, she's like, what is that? And sure enough, it's the shadow of a little girl coming up to the the bear was. So
But it was interesting when I took the picture, I kind of just held the phone out and I was just taking random pictures. And that sometimes just take randoms and not even like, hey, I want to get something. You truly catch something. But I remember when I took it, I did 3 frames. And when I got to I think the last one, it just felt like batteries, like opposite just kept like clinging together. It was a weird feeling because I could feel it up against my arm. And then when I put the picture on my laptop to edit and lighten it and do everything, there's like a clear outline of a shoulder, a head, eyes, nose. You can see it all. Wow. I mean, it was probably one of the coolest things to capture. Not even realize I was taking it. I mean, it was just, hey, let's get a picture, just for fun.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That is cool.
Well, what are you guys doing for New Year's Eve?
We're just here. We're hanging out. So Jen's been a doll. She's been watching my fur babies while we were gone for Ohio. And so I'm cooking meatballs, nacho dip, all kinds of good stuff. And we're just going to hang out here. What are you guys going to do?
I'm going to be with Tiffany. Everybody knows Tiffany's the right-hand man on the team. And we're getting the band back together. We're going to start investigating the team again. So ladies do join us. So it's going to be fun because Tiffany lives like right across the highway. We're both on the corner of the exit. She's on one side, I'm on the other. This little bridge overpass is separating us. And we haven't seen each other, but in passing for a minute, a few minutes, whatever. I went to her birthday party, and I'm like, well, that's just ridiculous. So I'm over there to hang out with her and her wife, Marlo, which are so fun, and they're friends. I mean, during Tiffany's birthday party, it was still kind of early, and the DJ was there, and, getting ready to karaoke DJ, and of course, he's playing music at first, and these women are just sitting around, and this one lady goes, damn it, we are lesbians. Play some damn ABBA already. And I was just like, oh my God. But she yelled it like real loud to the DJ. But Tiffany is so much fun. And
oh my God, I love Tiffany.
She's amazing. Everybody's got to know Tiffany. That's all there is to it. Tiffany is golden. I don't think I know one person that doesn't like Tiffany. So
okay, one more question for you really quick.
Sure.
Okay. And I know you just told us where people could find you, but do you ever do live investigations?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then they can find you on the Facebook and
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we always try to put like that day, hey, we're going live at this time, so everybody's just not sitting and waiting. So we try to say, hey, we'll be on like at 6:45. So we try to do that as well.
Unless we have technical difficulties.
Yes.
Right.
And it can happen.
It can happen. Yes, it can.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or sometimes you get those locations where you're so far out in the woods, there's like no signal. I mean, she's looking at her phone. I'm looking at mine. I'm like, well, I hope we don't have an emergency because we have no signal.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Fox, he had to switch over to YouTube because his Facebook I think he was having internet issues, but it says, before my aunt died, my cousin installed cameras because she was frail, and man, they caught some stuff. Yeah, those things will catch some crazy stuff. It was like just security cameras. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of bugs too.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, it's a bug. It's cool.
You can catch all kinds of stuff. I mean, just when you think you don't catch something, go back and look, because 9 chances out of 10, that's always happened to her and I. Even with like the body camera, we didn't notice what was on the floor right then and there, and you could see it flying past, and we had no idea.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bee Gees should be playing here at my house or something. I'm staying alive. Oh my goodness. Well, ladies, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
All again. It's been way too long. You don't feel like it because we talk like
every day.
Yeah.
It's not every day. It's the day after. It's video
so
chatting, random chatting, and you like the logo.
And Jen, yes, love it.
Cool.
And Jen, it was so good to meet you.
Yes, it was.
Stay in the studio in the back if you can.
Okay, sure. No worries.
And Jen, we didn't get to you as well. What were you going to do for New Year's?
I'm going to my daughter's. We're doing a like a retro. We're doing just like this vintage party with the the long tinsel on the trees and the grocery food and all the things.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
So,
you're both doing fun stuff. I want to go. It's like,
I'm here. We're just sitting in front of the TV and cooking.
oh, thank you, Joe.
Jen, do you want to tell them who's on next week? Because I don't want to butcher his name.
I will myself.
We have the walking monk, and I
should've
can't
brought-
pronounce his name.
Yeah, I should have brought his book up here and show you. I believe that it's Badamagara. I think is how you say it. Badamagara, the walking monk. He's from Canada. And he's so cool. He's just like traveled the world walking and just learned lessons about, people, humanity, just kind of nature, all of these things. So I've got to finish reading his book too before then. But I'm really excited to have him on. He'll be fun to talk to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he really is fun. I met him a couple years ago. Well, it's been maybe 5 years ago when he came walking through our town. So yeah, I'm super excited to be able to chat with him again.
Very cool.
That's so
fun. He's a lot of fun.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. Thank you, everyone that was in the chat room. Thanks. Interactive. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. And we'll catch you next week.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.
This is where it gets fun because for some reason
at least I don't have a hat to rip off this time. And then have that come up.
Thank you, guys. We might pop back on a second. Who knows?
Okay.